Tony, welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about Ryan Garcia. He's already made his splash at 140 pounds. Now, the real question is, what can he do at this weight? What can he do in this division? Can he take on the guys in this division? So that's what this video is about. Really quick, if you like my videos, please like, please share, please subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, please go ahead and push that like button, that thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend, share this video. Let's get back to this video. So the reality is, all right, he just made a splash, and it was quite a splash at 140 pounds. Now, granted, you know, the argument's going to be, well, the opponent that he faced wasn't the toughest, roughest guy in the world, and the guy more or less came to get a check than anything else. Okay, that's fine. But more importantly, what I want to talk about is how did he look? Even if you have a walk in the park opponent, how did you look when you were in the ring? He looked physically amazing. He was super fast. He was super big for the weight. I mean, he looks like Ryan Garcia is clearly going to end his career at maybe 154, possibly. I mean, he's a pretty big boy. He looked good at the weight. He looked healthy at the weight. He was still fast. He looked even stronger. I mean, a lot of that is due to changing trainers, you know, different techniques. But he looked good. He looked really good. Now, the question is, who can he beat at this weight? And, you know, there's the few guys that I want to mention. I want to talk about Teofimo Lopez. I want to talk about Josh Taylor and also Regis Prograis and Jose Ramirez. Now, out of those four guys, since I think it's clear to say, you know, at this point, he's not going to be fighting Tank anytime soon. The fight was offered to him. Well, the fight was on the table, but it's clear, apparently that's not going to happen. So I don't even want to bother, you know, you or myself with thinking about a fight that's not realistically going to happen when he's got some real dogs in front of him at 140 pounds. So let's just start with Teofimo Lopez. Now, it's been no secret that I've been saying this whole time that I think Ryan Garcia can beat Teofimo Lopez. I've never really been the biggest Teofimo Lopez fan, or not that I don't see the talent, because clearly the talent is there. It's more or less, I don't believe the level of talent that people place him on. That's really what it is. I never viewed him as like the top tier guy at 135, 130 or 135. I never viewed him as that. At 140, I don't think he's a top tier guy. At 140, I don't see him regaining all the titles. I just don't. And can Ryan Garcia beat him? I think he can. I think Ryan Garcia is faster than him. I think Ryan Garcia hits harder than him. And I think Ryan Garcia has a newfound focus that is much needed for him. You know, there was a point in Ryan's, you know, career where it's like, all right, what do you want to do? Be an Instagram model? Like, what do you want to do? Are you serious about this? Are you not serious about this? And I think at this stage, we can clearly see that he's serious about this. Now, of course, in the past, Ryan has stated some things like he wanted to fight Pacquiao. I think at one stage, he was like, he wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather. And it's like, dude, let's get realistic. You're not fighting any one of those guys. Neither one of those guys even recognize you. You know, so he tends to say things that, or at least there was a time when he said things that he clearly didn't mean, knowing that he wasn't going to get what he was asking for anyway. But nowadays, listen, he said he was going up to 140. He went up to 140. He said he was going to win in impressive fashion. He did so. And he looked good doing so. So that being said, do I think he can beat Teofimo Lopez? Yeah, I think he's faster. I think he's stronger. I think he has way more knockout power. The main thing that people talk about when it's Teofimo Lopez is his explosiveness. But Ryan Garcia is great at gauging distance. Ryan Garcia is great at timing, because he's a great counterpuncher. Ryan Garcia has a great jab. The only thing that I feel like Teofimo Lopez has better, or utilizes better than Ryan Garcia, some people have it, some people don't, are his legs. That's it. But in terms of distance, Ryan Garcia is pretty good at distance. And his height advantage, his reach advantage, are definitely going to play in his favor. Especially with the new way that he's fighting. It's definitely going to play in his favor. I just don't see Teofimo Lopez doing anything in Ryan Garcia. Now let's move on to Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor in his last fight, Honestly, I think he won because he was at home. That's just that. I'll leave that right there. He has not looked good in a while. Let's put it like that. In his last fight, he did not look good at all. If Josh Taylor were to do that with Ryan Garcia, I think he would get slapped. I really do. Now Josh Taylor is, big for his weight. He's huge. I don't know how this man makes weight. I really don't. I mean, he must start like 2 months out or something like that. I really don't know how he makes weight. But I don't think he's as fast as Ryan Garcia. I mean, he's not as fast at all. I mean, as fast. He's not as fast at all. I think he's a lot slower. I think neither one of them have a huge punch selection, but I don't think with Josh Taylor, Ryan Garcia would need a huge punch selection. All it needs is a great jab, and if he could just keep the distance, and he's shown that he can keep the distance, I think Josh Taylor would be a puzzle for Ryan Garcia in the sense that he's taller, and Ryan Garcia has never fought somebody as tall as Josh Taylor, and also a true guy of the weight. So maybe somebody as tall and who hits as hard as Josh Taylor. But so what? I still think he's faster. And I think they probably have the same amount of punching power. Because Ryan looked good at that weight. He looked healthy. He looked very strong. His back was wide. I mean, I don't know. He easily beats Josh Taylor to the punch. That's all that really matters. Josh Taylor being Josh Taylor, he's going to do that little blitz thing. And I just see him getting pieced up, with counter shots. That's really all Ryan Garcia needs is counter shot. Because trust me, Josh Taylor being Josh Taylor is going to be right in front of your face anyway. So all Ryan Garcia needs to do is throw some counter shots. And I think he'll be more than effective in beating Josh Taylor. Plus, he's a lot faster than Josh Taylor. Now I'm also talking about Ryan Garcia's legs, a lot faster than Josh Taylor. Now let's move on to Jose Ramirez. This is a lot more difficult fight. This is a difficult fight. Can he beat Ryan Garcia? Can Ryan Garcia beat Jose Ramirez? Currently, right now, I would probably say no. I think Ramirez is too raw, too rough, too tough, too up in your face, too personal with it, too aggressive. And I think Ryan Garcia does not like to fight in the phone booth. It's very clear he doesn't like to fight in the phone booth. And now we're talking about bigger guys. So we're also talking about taller guys as well. So you're not going to have a lot of the advantages that you had in the past with being taller than guys that have longer reach than guys. And you're going to have guys who can absorb more of your punches as well. So that means they don't mind mixing it up with you. And it also means that they're okay with closing the distance with you. And I think Ramirez is not necessarily the guy that, Ryan Garcia right now would want to face, would want to look down or look across the ring and see. I think that's just too much sheer aggression and basic boxing ability. And what I mean by basic boxing, just mean the fundamentals are there. But he can turn it up. And again, because he's bigger, I think Ryan Garcia needs to really get settled into the weight class. And then we could talk about somebody like Ramirez. Now, last but not least, and my personal fave of all the four that I just mentioned, Regis Prograis. Do I think Ryan Garcia can beat Regis Prograis? Only if it goes to a decision. However, Ryan Garcia doesn't throw a lot of punches. Regis Prograis doesn't throw a lot of punches. And Regis Prograis is extremely durable, extremely tough, and is going to walk Ryan Garcia down. Ryan Garcia is not going to knock Regis Prograis out. So we can just throw that out the window right now. We don't even need to talk about it. That's not going to happen. Regis Prograis does possess the ability to knock Ryan Garcia out. So that needs to come back in the window. Not saying the knockout is not going to be there. No, for Regis Prograis, the knockout is there. Regis Prograis is extremely tough. He's just a tough dude, period. He's a tough dude. He knows what he has in his heart, and that's part of his game, his toughness. He's going to walk you down. He's going to talk to you while he's walking you down. He's going to slip those shots. You know, he has great head movement. He's really slippery. So he can afford to get in your face. And he can afford for Ryan to lead the dance if he just so chooses. Also, like Ryan, Regis Prograis is a counterpuncher as well. So that poses a problem for Ryan Garcia because he more than likely would have to lead the dance because he's going to have to lead the dance because Regis is going to walk him down. He's going to be right in his face. Ryan has no other chance but to lead the dance because Ryan doesn't do well fighting backing up. So that's going to be a problem for Ryan. The power of Regis Prograis is going to be a problem for Ryan. The combinations of Regis Prograis is going to be a problem for Ryan. And I have yet to see Ryan Garcia I have yet to see Ryan Garcia face an attacker who brings on a sustained body attack. And you know what Regis Prograis does? He brings on a sustained body attack. And he's a great counterpuncher when he goes back upstairs. So, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Also, if Ryan Garcia gets hurt at any point in time in the fight, Regis Prograis is a finisher. And believe me, he can get the job done. He's not afraid to get hit. He's not afraid to walk through fire to give you some fire back. And I just don't see Ryan Garcia beating him. So I think, given the right perspective, if Ryan Garcia moves correctly in the division, I think he can make a splash. If he does not, and he gets overzealous, and he goes shooting for the stars, I think it could be a problem for him. You know, if he wants to take the route of Teofimo Lopez, which I think is a very good route, and then, you know, look at Josh Taylor. If Josh Taylor can, you know, is committed to continuing to make the weight, great, you know. But overall, I think the more he gets up that tier, it becomes progressively more of a challenge for Ryan Garcia. And I think if he has maybe 2 or 3 more fights at 140 pounds, maybe then I would say he's ready for Ramirez. But even then, I would still probably favor Ramirez because I've seen Ryan aggressive. I have never seen Ryan in a war. And Ramirez and Prograis, they bring wars. And I don't know if Ryan can deal with a war. I have yet to see him in a war where it's going to take all your heart, and both guys are giving it their all, and both guys are on E. I don't know if he has that in him, especially for those type of guys. Those are 2 rugged guys, Regis Prograis, Jose Ramirez. They're just rugged. They're tough. They're sharp. They hit hard, and they can take a lick and keep on coming at you. So I really don't know. I doubt it. I doubt he can beat Regis Prograis. You know, like I said, maybe in 2 fights we can see how he looks, and then we can gauge again about Jose Ramirez. But I don't see him being a unified champ at 140 pounds. He might get his hands on one strap, but I don't see him being a unified champ at 140 pounds. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on Ryan Garcia versus Jose Ramirez, Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor, and Teofimo Lopez. Drop your thoughts down below. I want to hear what you have to say. Do you think he can make a splash in this division, or do you think he's reaching for the stars? Drop your thoughts down below. As always, please like, please share, please subscribe to my channel.